Most advice on getting rich is, well, it's polite, it's optimistic, and honestly, it's a little bit fluffy. But what if the real path to wealth is blunt and brutal and actually pretty uncomfortable? Today, we're going to dive into the wisdom of Felix Dennis, a self-made multimillionaire who, trust me, did not pull any punches.
So let's just start with the biggest question right out of the gate. If you want to get seriously wealthy, what's that one thing you absolutely positively have to have? Take a second and think about it. I bet your answer is the same one most people have.
And there it is, a great idea, that eureka moment, right? The billion-dollar concept that you scribble on a napkin. We're all conditioned to believe that this amazing, unique idea is the starting line for getting rich. It's the holy grail everyone's looking for. Well, according to Felix Dennis, that is completely and utterly wrong.
And boom, here it is. This quote is the core of his entire philosophy. Dennis was convinced that great ideas are a dime a dozen. They're practically worthless by themselves. The real value, the thing that actually makes people fortunes, is the hard, grinding, relentless work of making it happen, of executing. So if a great idea isn't the key, what's the real thing holding everybody back?
Is this fear. Dennis calls it the 800-pound gorilla in the room. Is this massive, invisible force that just paralyzes people and pretty much guarantees they stay right where they are. But it's not just one simple fear. Oh no, it's more like a two-headed monster.
Now, here's what's so fascinating. We all get the fear on the left, right? The fear of losing money. That's totally logical. But Dennis argued that the fear on the right, the fear of public humiliation, is way, way more powerful. It's that deep-seated dread of being laughed at, of being pitied, of having to tell your friends and family, yeah, that thing I tried, it didn't work out.
And he just lays it out right here, with his usual bluntness. This need for everyone to like you and approve of you, it's a trap, it's a cage. Because if you're worried about what other people are going to think, you've already lost. The road to wealth is absolutely littered with moments where you are going to look like a complete and total fool. So, okay, how in the world do you fight this kind of fear? You can't just ignore it. Dennis's solution was to deliberately and consciously build a very specific kind of mental armor, a protective shell that lets you push forward no matter how much mockery or criticism comes your way.
And he had a name for it, a carapace. Yeah, like a turtle shell. The key here is that it has to be thick enough to protect you from all those little digs and the I told you so's. But, and this is crucial, it can't be so thick that you stop listening to genuinely good advice from people you actually trust. It's a really fine line to walk.
And building that shell, that carapace, means you have to develop some pretty tough traits. I mean, look at this list. Unshakable self-belief, a thick skin, immense stamina. Okay, those make sense. But it's these last two that are the real killers. A willingness to fail publicly and an obsession with the goal itself, not just the one idea you started with. That's the stuff that mental armor is really made of.
All right, so with all that in mind, let's talk about where you're starting from. Who does Dennis think is actually in the best position to win this game? Is it the senior executive with a great network and tons of money? Or is it somebody else? You might be surprised by the answer. This table is just brilliant. Look all the way to the left. Dennis's verdict? The young and penniless have by far the best shot. Now, why on earth would he say that? Simple. They have nothing to lose. Their biggest weakness, no money, no experience, is completely overshadowed by their greatest strength. They haven't built a comfortable life yet that they are terrified of losing. That senior manager, on the other hand, they're often too comfortable, too afraid to risk what they have. They have the most to lose, and that fear holds them back every time.
And this brings us right back around, full circle, to the main idea of this whole explainer. If getting rich is less about your circumstances and more about your mindset, then it's not about waiting around for that perfect, divinely inspired moment. It's about getting to work. And this slide just sums it all up perfectly. On one side, you have the myth. Just wait for that lightning bolt of genius to strike. It's passive. On the other side, you have the truth. Relentless, often boring, implementation of a simple plan. Wealth isn't something you find, it's something you build, brick by brick, through pure execution.
I want you to just let this number sink in for a second. 1,000 times. He didn't say it was twice as important. He didn't say it was 10 times more important. He said it was 1,000 times more important. That is the insane value he placed on doing the work versus just thinking about the work. It completely flips our priorities on their head.
And in the end, all of his brutal, honest advice really just boils down to this one simple, incredibly powerful command. Stop waiting. Stop trying to brainstorm the perfect idea. Stop worrying what your neighbors are going to say. Just get busy. Get busy getting rich.
And that's really the only question that matters, isn't it? When you strip away all the myths, all the excuses, all the fear, Dennis leaves us with this challenge. It's not about finding the perfect thing. It's just about starting something. So I'll leave you with that. What will you get busy with?